And welcome to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast. I am your host, Ryan Gilbert. Joining me, as usual, is my co-host, Joe DeMarini. How are we doing today, Joe? How was that?
We'll get there. We'll get better at it.
Yeah.
We got to work on the hand gestures first,
Yeah,
but
no,
thankfully we're a podcast, so nobody can really see that. Yeah, doing all right. It's August. It's certainly August. How about you?
It's definitely August. I mean, it was definitely July last week, and it was like 100 degrees out, very hot there. But it's August now for hockey season. There's not much to talk about. Like I have like a lot of ideas in my head, but I'm like, I'm not gonna waste them now. No one cares about hockey now. Let's just ride this thing out, talk prospects, talk what's actually happening, which is nothing. So and then wait for training camp's gonna be right around the corner. Rookie camp probably in a month or so. Got the rookie series games announced for September like 12th and 13th. I saw. So yeah, it's going to be here before we know it. But we gotta still enjoy August while we can.
We sure do. We sure do. And boy, have we got some August content for you folks today.
Very August here. First and foremost, make sure you subscribe to the Broad Street Hockey Podcast on Apple and Spotify. Leave us a 5-star rating and review there to tell us how much you love us. Also, make sure you subscribe and hit that like button on YouTube. We appreciate all of that there. And of course, like and subscribe on the website. Thomas tweeted about it, skeeted about it, I think last week sometime. But we're finally here. We're finally kind of got over the hump. Website's really doing well. So appreciate all of that. Just $5 a month to support independent journalism here. Just all go straight to the writers, straight to the podcasters, straight to the bloggers that you see in front of the camera. So we appreciate all of that. We took last week off, but there was actually hockey stuff happening last week with the World Junior Summer Showcase. The Flyers had the most players represented there, with I think 7, and they also had Jet Luchenko, who did not participate due to an injury that he was still rehabbing from. He also did not participate in development camp, but Summer Showcase. I mean, Jack Berglund was great. The Finnish center Ruohonen, or however you pronounce his name, he was great as well. And you don't want to read too much into this because like it's just whatever. You can't read into even World Juniors too much because we've seen guys like German Rubtsov and Vorobiev and all these guys have great performances there. But if anything, I feel like it gives you just more confidence in them, and maybe it raises the floor a bit for their expectations.
Yeah. I would expect them, Berglund especially. He's old on the older side. Like this is his last chance at it. Ruohonen as well. No, wait a minute. It's Ruonen's last chance. I think Berglund would get one more year.
Berglund would turn 20 in April. So
no, this is it for him.
Too old? Yeah.
Oh, that's funny because Ruohonen was drafted in 2023 and Berglund was 2024, and they'll both become ineligible at a similar time, it sounds like. So, this is their last shot. I would expect them to be pretty good at the showcase. I'm just glad to see like that Berglund pick was a little questionable, right? Trading up to get him. And it's good to see. It's amazing to see what wearing the right size skates will do for a player's development course.
Berglund, we were like, all right, it was early in the second round. We were like, all right, whatever, we'll see what he does. But he's been playing. He played in the SHL some last year. Also played in the junior league over there. But he's a bigger body, 6'4", 209 pounds here, according to Elite Prospects. Had a good showing at the Summer Showcase. So he can be one of these guys just thrown into the system, thrown into this prospect pool that the Flyers have. That it's not just Martone and Luchenko and Bonk and Zavragin at the top. There's a lot of guys. Like yesterday, Stephen Ellis, we'll get into it, released his top 10 prospect rankings. And I was like, all right, let me try to rank my top 10 first before I look at this, so I'm not influenced at all. And once you get to like 6 or 7, there's like so many guys that can be like between 8 and 15. Like you can have so many different arguments for why you want that guy there. And that's exciting. Like there's Martone, he's the only top guy. Luchenko's speed is exciting. Zavragin, the potential of having a franchise goaltender is exciting, but also just having all of these guys that look like they should be something.
Yeah, and at Broad Street Hockey, we are currently voting on our 25 under 25 for the prospects, and I believe those will start rolling out August 18th or
Mhm.
something around there, mid-August, late August. We will start doing our rankings of the prospect pool, and that's something to look forward to.
Yeah.
I didn't rank the top 10. Uh, I'm high
Well,
on Ike Ruinen, but I know I might be alone in that assessment. So
yeah, I think I teased it a few weeks ago that we were going to try to do a Broad Street Hockey top 10 prospect
mhm.
rankings. Maybe we'll just do that next week's podcast. Whoever can hop on with us does it with
Yeah.
us, and just to get that out there. Skipping a week definitely threw a wrench into things, but want to get that out there before the 25 under 25, which should be even more, even some heated debates there, because you have guys in the NHL, a bunch of those guys.
Mhm.
There's going to be some names down there at like 20 that like you're going to be like, oh, another year they'll be up at 10. So the
Yeah.
Flyers, they have a deep prospect pool, but
Well,
we
okay.
were ish, but we
Well,
were
it
messaging
depends on the
before.
comments.
It depends on who you ask, and I
Yes.
feel like because we were talking before the show, and you're like, people are down on the prospect pool. Like, why is everyone so negative on it? And I feel like a big reason is PTSD, prospect
Yeah.
traumatic stress disorder. Like, I went and looked back at the prospect pool for 2015, 2016,
Mhm.
2017 through Hextall, and like, yeah, Konechny, Provorov. Everyone loved the blue line with Provorov, Sanheim,
Sanheim.
Moran, Hag, and then Phil Myers got in there. Hart, Sandstrom, the goaltenders. Like everyone's like, oh, forwards might be weak, and we were promised this. Fans, media, even the team itself was like, all right, we're building through the draft. We're building all these prospects. German Rupsov was, a guy people expected. Then Patrick and Morgan Frost in 2017,
Mhm.
and it just never got to the point where any of those guys, maybe besides Konechny, reach their potential. Maybe Provorov, of being a top pair guy, but I feel like his confidence was a little bit cocky and arrogant and kind of kept Sanheim down. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I feel like this is kind of similar in a way where you have Martone at the top is like the top guy, and you have Bonk and Luchenko, but you have all these guys in the middle, like the Wade Allisons, Isaac Ratcliffe, Connor Bunneman, people like there for a while, like. But the issue with Hextall was he didn't know when to cash in his chips. He didn't know when to make that trade, and that's something we also haven't seen from Briere yet. You can say he did that with Zegras going out to get him, but
Mm.
he traded Paling in a second round pick. Like they haven't traded a prospect or a roster player to improve the roster. And I feel like that's the next big thing for Briere. But they have a
Yeah.
bunch of guys in the prospect pool that they can do that with.
I mean, Briere hasn't been put in a position yet where he needs to make that kind of move.
Mhm.
I guess you could say that trading Cutter Gauthier was moving a prospect for a roster player, but that's a unique situation that
Mhm.
wasn't trying to, get better. But no, I just pulled the reason it came up is because I read the comments on our articles over at Broad Street Hockey, and someone compared Hextall's draft and DB's draft so far with good, fine, and bust. So the good ones for Hextall were TK and Sanheim. Fine was Provy, Knack, Frost, Hart, Farabee, and then the busts were Patrick, Rubstov, LeBerge, Allison, Ratcliffe, Job, and Ginning. For DB, for Danny Briere, Michkov and Martone, good. Fine, Bonk and Jet. Bust, Bjarnason, Berglund, Gill, Nesbitt, Murtag, Guard, Van Sagi. Like all of the guys they just drafted a month ago. And I'm like, how can you say this is a bust? It's been a month. It's been 2 years for some of these guys. You can't call them busts yet. It's way too soon.
That's just that's just a negative fan, a negative commenter. That's like, all right, these guys, they're I don't even know how you can think that especially like Vensagi, like he could have went
What
first
is
round. They got him
yeah.
48th guard. They got him 57th. Like, how can they be a bust? They've been in the organization less than 2 months.
What is the point of doing a draft if you're just gonna go, oh, he's a bust? Like, what is the point of even doing anything if you're just gonna write some guy off as a bust before they even get NHL
I mean,
time? It's
I guess
crazy.
I will give them props for having an opinion on these prospects so early, because I don't
Sure.
have a strong opinion on these prospects yet, but I'm smart enough to
No.
say, like, I don't know. We don't know. You
Fair.
you don't know what's going to happen with with these prospects. And something that I've been thinking about is like with Hextall, in those drafts, I feel like the players that the Flyers drafted were like expected were there that was like they were good already. They were like, all right,
Mhm.
these are good players. They'll at least be in the AHL, maybe be like AHL, NHL tweeners. Maybe they'll take that step up. And
None of them
now
did.
Briere, they're targeting guys that are late risers. They're targeting guys that are still on the way up, and you can see
Mhm.
the path for development. And that's the big thing is developing them and evaluating them to be like, all right, is this guy going to be where we think he's going to be, or should we try to move him when we still can? And Briere's doing that by getting these big centers, getting these right-handed defensemen that are, assets that you can't really find very very often. So they have them in the building. They can evaluate them, they can develop them, and they can decide which ones fit and which ones don't.
Yeah. And maybe even trade him. I mean, my bias
Mhm.
is that I wasn't here for the Hextall years, so I
Yeah.
didn't experience that like promise, that those high hopes only to just have everything come crashing down. Um, but like what's the point if you're not going to be excited or at least a little bit hopeful about seeing the prospects and the plan and the process that's sorry, I shouldn't use the word process when we're talking
No.
about a rebuild in Philadelphia. My bad. Um, so I just, yeah, I'm excited to see where things go. I'm really excited to see what the 2525 is because of the second round picks, I think I'm most excited about Murtag, which I don't know if that's consensus. Van Sagi's close. I really like Shane Van Sagi too, but
Yeah,
no.
I've heard a lot of people talk about Murtag. Van Sagi obviously has the size and the scoring ability. Already has a year at college, so should be even better this
Mhm,
season
mhm.
with Martone up there as
With
well
Martone.
at Michigan State. Maybe those guys can wreak some havoc on the power play. Two big bodies in front there, but yeah, I mean the 2525. You got what they got 6 more guys. Zegras is still under 25, right? So he'll be in the mix as well. Like there's
Mhm.
that's going to be definitely intriguing. I might have to start putting mine together to see what I got there. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, the Flyers they're getting the centers, they're getting the right-handed defensemen, they're getting the guys that you can't necessarily go out and just trade for. You can't go
And
out
they
and
will
get in free agency.
and they'll always have value around the league. They will
Yes.
always have that value around the league. Like we talked last time about one of the best lines in hockey of the last 4 seasons, and it was built on the wings. And you look at the Flyers prospect pool, who's here right now and who projects to be here long term, and like there's only so many winger spots. And if all
Mhm.
of their guys are pushing for like top 9 minutes, but can't play fourth line for one reason or the other, like Bobby Brink, for example, you can't play him on the fourth line. That just doesn't it doesn't really fit the identity they're trying to go with, and it doesn't really fit with the league. Um, they're going to have to make space, or if they have a bunch of guys that are really good, you just take the one that you like the least, package that with a pick and another player, and you're like, yo, give us this top pairing defenseman that won't sign with you or that is available or whatever the heck the case may be. Um, it's not just about prospects for the Flyers, it's prospects to be used as assets if it comes to that down the road.
Exactly. Like
Although
like
they're not all going to pan out. They're not all going to be
no, no,
success stories.
no.
You take
They're
as
not
many
all.
throws as you can.
Yeah, they're not all gonna pan out. They're not all gonna pan out for the Flyers if they do pan out. Like, there's just not enough roster spots to have all these guys play in the AHL at the same time, let alone the NHL with the guys the Flyers have. So, like I was saying before, it's up to Briere and them to figure out which ones are like, all right, which ones we can move, which ones we want to have be a part of the future. And these guys should hold value. These big centers, big wingers. Everyone loves a big winger. Right
Hmm.
hand defenseman. We saw what the Flyers, what a bad GM gave up for Rasmus Ristolainen. You got a 13th overall pick. Like, if Briere can do that in a
14.
few years, 14th. If Briere can do that in a few years for like one of these big right hand defensemen that they don't need. Like if Drysdale pans out, if Bonk pans out, they have 2 right-handed guys already in the NHL. Sanheim can play the right side. Like that's a piece that teams are going to be looking for when the Flyers are trying to take that next step. And the Flyers don't have a bunch of guys with high ceilings. Like Martone should be a top line player.
Yeah.
Luchenko maybe second line. Maybe Bonk can be solid second pair guy. But they don't have these guys that are like either like either going to be a home run or a strikeout. These are guys who are going to be like, you know what, they're going to be able to play third line, second pair, be solid guys out there. And even if they don't fit for the Flyers, teams look at these guys like, all right, maybe a change of scenery will help them. Like you said, they're going to hold value no matter
not
where
just the
they're at.
scenery, our system. Because the Flyers have seen what the Ducks are doing, and they're like, yeah, they fuck this up every single time. We can do it better. We can take Drysdale and Zegras and turn them into what they're meant to be. The Ducks can't do it. They're not capable of it. So maybe someone will look at the Flyers and be like, yo, they haven't developed anyone since what, like the 90s? Maybe we take advantage of that market deficiency and see what we can turn their players into. Nobody beats Buffalo, though. Nobody beats Buffalo when it comes
nobody
to
beats Buffalo.
Dropping the ball.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Briere can go back there and get one of their big guns once they fail this season. But yeah, I mean, the Hextall thing, I forgot to say, like, that was like the first time that Flyers fans had to deal with a true rebuild. And that's the only, because like pre-salary cap era, Flyers were just throwing money at whoever.
Yeah.
Then they had, I mean, I guess in the mid 2000s, I wasn't old enough to fully analyze it, but they had like Carter coming up, they had Richards coming up, they got JVR, they got Giroux, and like they all panned out, and they still had that run to the cup in 2010. Tore it down, trading Carter and Richards, and Schenn, Voracek, Simmons, they all panned out. Couturier panned out. And then the Hextall was really the first test for most fans. Like it was like, all right, let's see if this team can do this. Let's see if this organization can build through the draft and not just continue to go after these veterans. And it didn't work. So I understand the fans that are skeptical, but as we say time and time again, the past regimes are not this regime. This regime has a plan. Charlie O'Connor of PHLY, friend of the show, he outlined it perfectly in his article on the podcast last week. Like, you may not agree with the plan, but they have a plan, and you can see why they're doing what they do.
Yeah, and I've got an article coming hopefully this week, maybe next week, so we can talk about it on the next pod. But basically, the Flyers didn't tank, and they still got the prospects that you tanked to get. Like Michkov, if he was like a Western Canadian boy, might have been vying for the number 1 overall with Bedard. Porter Martone, I don't know if he would have been with like head to head with Schaefer, but like in some circles, yeah, he was a number 1 overall caliber pick, but he was certainly in the top 3 of the 2025 draft. Michkov, if you still believe in Bedard and took away all the noise around the Russia stuff and the attitude issues, probably the number 2 prospect, maybe 3 if you give preference to a
I could see him. Yeah, I could see him being 3 or 4 because Carlson and Fantilli are worthy of top 3 picks. I feel like it would have been similar to this year with Martone, where like future Flyer
Leo Carlson. Yeah,
I can get aboard that train. And yeah, we were talking about Martone before the draft. We're like, all right, Blackhawks should take him 3. That's why like we didn't get our hopes up for Martone. Like, all right, he'll go whatever. I remember watching his like video, Welcome to the NHL, where he has a lacrosse net and whatnot. I'm like, oh, this guy's cool. The Flyers won't have a chance to get him, but this guy seems like a good kid. And now he's a Flyer. Like you said, like they got Michkov, they got Martone, they got Zegras, who I don't remember exactly when he was drafted, but he's a top 6 talent. Like, and say what you will about Nesbitt, top 12 pick is pretty good, and Luchenko 14th. Like
Drysdale,
they're not top 5 talents, but like they're top half of the first round picks that can be pieces of a Stanley Cup team.
I mean, I just don't understand why people are like, oh, they should have tanked. And I'm like, they got the guys that you tank for at 7 and 6 because they fell to them. And I'm sure the response would be, oh, they got lucky. Duh. Like that's this is luck. It's gonna take some things going right. It's gonna take some lucky breaks. You don't just like build a cup contender on paper and say, there, that's it. It's done. Like it's going to take some lucky breaks to get it right. And the Flyers' lucky breaks at the draft have been a really good player, a potential superstar. Michkov fell to them at 7 because of a bunch of noise around him. And then Martone fell to them because preference to centers and checking, I guess. Brady Martin. Centers, yes, centers, because what was it? It went Misa, Frondel, Desnoyers. So yeah, positional preference.
Yeah.
Martin was the first one that you're like, huh, okay, all right. Thank God the Flyers didn't have to make that decision.
Yeah, because they would have went for Jake O'Brien probably if Martone wasn't there, which would have been a
Higgins.
fine pick. I don't know if I don't know if they would have went Higgins. That would have been. I would have not been happy if they went Martin over Higgins, but luckily we don't have to find that out. Or
no,
O'Brien,
we don't have to find
either of those guys. Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it leading up to the draft. I was like, look, it's Higgins all day, but if it's Higgins versus Martone, you have a really difficult conversation to have. And I stand by that. That is a really tough conversation. Higgins has that top line center upside, but Martone, what he brings is an element that the Flyers lack, and you're just like, can you really pass that up? And no, you can't.
And Martone has that X factor, and the Flyers, you can say they got lucky with Michkov, but they also, Briere had to talk to him, make sure he was going to come to Philly. He had to get approval for the pick. Like that was also, strategy. His first big move. That was his first real big move as GM. What are you saying? The Provorov trade that's been a big move because it's worked out as well as it did. Like if Sean Walker was just whatever and they traded him for a 3rd round pick and like whatever, but it was the first big swing he took was Michkov.
I think trading your top minute playing defenseman with no obvious substitute with the intention to trade Travis Sanheim 2 weeks later, I'd still say that's a big, bold move regardless of how it panned out. Like you're trading a guy who's playing 23 minutes, 24 minutes a night, and then you were planning to trade your number 2 defenseman 2 weeks later. It just worked out that like Sanheim turned into what he is now. So I still think the Provorov move is the first big deal. But taking Michkov, everyone's like, oh yeah, it was the obvious choice. No, it wasn't. Why did all these other teams pass on him? I get the positional preference for Carlson, Fantilli, and Smith. But then you get to the Montreal pick with Reinbacher, and you're like, okay, all right.
Reinbacher, Simashev, once Michkov was there and the Flyers were on the board on the clock, everyone at the draft party was very excited for having Michkov.
Fingers crossed. I mean, Michkov had communicated. We understand from the reports that Michkov had communicated to the Coyotes, like, I'm not going to sign with you, so don't bother. Lucky for us.
Don't waste a top pick on someone that's not going to come over. Like
when Flyers fans are like, oh, the Flyers are a tire fire of a franchise, they can't get anything right, they're a mess. I'm like, dude, Michkov decided to come here and orchestrated it so that it would work out that way.
Yeah, there has been a lot of tire fires, but Michkov is the one thing that is kind of turning the tide a little bit with players wanting to come here and whatnot. So that's been good. I do want to get into this Stephen Ellis top 10 prospect article here. Obviously Martone was 1. Jet Luchenko is 2, which brings me to want to reveal our new sponsor is FanDuel. And FanDuel has odds up for the Calder Trophy. Jet Luchenko is at 300-1 to win the Calder Trophy, which seems extremely long. Like he might not make the roster, he might not put up the points, but if he plays 2C with Michkov or with Konechny or with Tippett, you bet $1, you win 300. Like there are a lot of worse ways to spend $1 out there nowadays. So make sure you check out FanDuel. FanDuel partner with us and Believe, so we appreciate that there. But yeah, I mean, Jet Luchenko number 2 here on the ranking.
Where is Luchenko ranked? You say 300-1. Where is he ranked relative to other potential rookies?
You got Demidov, the favorite, at 2.4-1. Zeev is 10-1. Misa 12-1. Jimmy Snuggerud 17-1.
Who are the players right on both sides of Luchenko?
Oh, the players down there at 300-1. Like Porter Martone is down there, and he's not playing this year.
He's not playing. Okay.
Braden Cooch, Jake O'Brien, Brad Lambert up in Winnipeg, guys that aren't going to be playing in the NHL are right around him.
Gotcha.
FanDuel is offering a very good price there on Luchenko. He is 75-1 elsewhere, so you're getting
Brad Lambert. Oh my goodness!
So he should be in there with Berkeley Cadden, Dalibor Dvorsky, Easton Cowan, Beckett Seneca. They're all 50-1. Shabanov is 30-1. But yeah, 300-1 for Luchenko. I understand it. He's on the outside looking in potentially of the roster battle, but he has more than a 5% chance of winning it or whatever the implied probability is there.
It'd be cool if he made it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Luchenko number 2.
Can you imagine how Michkov would feel after not being a finalist if Luchenko was then won the Calder? I feel like if Michkov helped him, he would find to be like, "Oh, I helped him." I'm happy for him. Yeah.
I think Michkov would also understand that he happened to be a rookie in a year where a couple of other rookies just were like insane.
Yes.
Dustin Wolf nearly got his team into the playoffs. Lane Hudson did things that defensemen haven't done in decades. And then Macklin Celebrini is just like awesome.
Yeah,
he's really good.
And if the Flyers'
Russia.
power play was decent, or if the Flyers' head coach wasn't John Tortorella, Michkov probably would have been in the finalist and potentially had won it. Like, I just have to imagine Michkov has like a dartboard with Torts' face as the target. He just attacks it.
I doubt it. Didn't he say in like a interview in Russia, he's like, he texted Torts and was like, "Oh, I'm sorry to hear you got fired. You were my first coach. And I'm sorry I didn't get to hit the Michigan in front of you." And Torts apparently was like, "Oh, I'm sure you'll get it one of these days." I looked up quickly. Matvei Michkov's average time on ice last season for the whole season was 16:41. I'm okay if it's still only like 18 minutes a night next year. Because, I mean, like, for comparison's sake, Travis Konechny averaged, what did TK average? He averaged 20:36, but he's also playing penalty kill. So I would expect that Michkov is not going to be playing penalty kill for the Philadelphia Flyers anytime soon.
Yeah.
So if his average ice time on the night is a little bit lower, don't be freaking out. Why isn't he getting 20 minutes? It's because he's not on the penalty kill, guys.
Last year, Tippett averaged 16 minutes a night. So Michkov was playing more than Tippett last year. And that's probably where he should have been. And having Torts as his coach is going to help Michkov. It's going to help, I feel like, the players that were on the team. Like, it's going to help all these young guys. It's
survivor's trauma.
It sucked
what's
during
that called?
it, but like Stockholm syndrome, you're saying? Or
no, it's like it's like when people survive a disaster together. There's like a bonding that comes out of it.
Yeah. The team's going to be better for it, but it sucked to go through it. Exactly there. But yeah, the rankings here: Martone, Luchenko, Bonk, 1, 2, 3. That was what I had my 1, 2, 3 as well. 4s of Ragan. Then 5, he had Nesbitt there. He had Nesbitt 5.
That's interesting.
Barkey 6. I thought that was high for Barkey. Bump at
really?
7. I just feel like there's more people down on Barkey because of his size. Bump at 7, Murtag at 8, Van Sagi at 9, and then Grybenkin at 10. I do think people are sleeping on Grybenkin a bit, but I don't know if I would put him 10 there. Maybe it's
who would you have over him?
I would have. I don't know if I'm being too recency biased with the summer showcase, but I had Berglund mixed in there, and then maybe one of the 20-25 seconds I have to do more research into which one.
Yeah. I mean, I like Heike Ruin, and I'd probably put him at 10. He does not deserve to be at 10, I'll tell you that. Or Murtag. I might have Murtag there too.
Well, he has Murtag at 8, so yeah, absolutely. Bump was the one I had Bump at 5. I'm very excited about Bump. I feel like he has the shot, he has the attitude, he has the body. I feel like
what if the Flyers are never going to do individual goal songs, are they? There's no way.
No, I don't.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if Alex Bump came out and said, "I want my goal song to be 365 by Charlie XCX," or 360 even? Bumping that.
It should be. Just make that the team goal song. Why not?
The team goal song, Bumping that, or 365. Yeah. I don't know if the Flyers would approve a song about doing keys in the bathroom for a goal song, but you never know.
Maybe back in the Mike Richards days. You never know.
Oh, savage! Who was it? Yori Laterra.
Yeah, the ringleader there. Yeah. So anyway. What here on this ranking like surprised you the most, if anything?
I don't think it surprised me that much. Maybe a little bit Luchenko over Bonk, but I probably would have a similar order. Maybe Nesbitt being so high, just because I'm not as high on Nesbitt. I might have him lower.
Yeah,
I don't
Nesbitt
know.
at 5.
He'd still probably be top 10, but I don't know if I'd have him at 5. Maybe it'd be like 9.
Yeah, like Martin, Luchenko, Bonk, Zavragin, I think are a clear top 4, whichever way you want
Yeah.
to order 2, 3, 4. And then you have like these guys, Nesbitt, Barkey, Bump, Bartag, he has in there, like Versaghi, you
Mhm.
can throw him in there. Like, so I guess like really 5 to like 8, there's like a few guys you can mix in. And then once you get after that, there's like probably upwards of 7, 8, 9 guys you could throw in there. You got, Miko, Vansagi, guard, Berglund,
Mhm.
Spencer Gill
Mhm.
played well at the summer showcase. Bjarnason maybe in like the 12 to 15 range. You never know down
Yeah.
there. Like, yeah, there's these guys that there's a lot. It's like we should maybe expand it to like a top 15, and it would even still be difficult to figure out who's going to go where.
Yeah, the depth of the prospect pool is very nice. Martone is the clear star at the top. Also, we should clarify, um, Michkov isn't on this list because it's not an age thing. It's based on
Mhm.
like NHL games and stuff.
Yeah.
So, um,
But Michkov, he's a prospect. He's like if you
yeah.
include Michkov in the Flyers prospect pool, you got Michkov, Martone. Like there's clearly the top 2 wingers.
Mhm,
Luchenko,
mhm.
Bonk can be solid middle line, middle pair guys, and then guys that look like they can be solid. Second line, third line, but they don't have the guys that are like, okay, he's either going to be a top line player or not pan out. Maybe they do in some of these, guys I don't know too much about yet. These guys who just drafted, but it feels like they have a lot of, solid foundations for these guys.
Yeah, I don't see anyone who's going to be, you know, who's just going to break out and be a top line player unless they're a complementary piece. That could always
Yeah.
happen. Like
Yeah.
if Michkov and Martone both reach their star levels, if Mishkov is a top 5 player in the league on par with Kucherov, and Martone is a top 20 on par with like Matt Tkachuk or Mikko Rantanen, I don't think it matters as much who your center is going to be because those two are the ones that are going to drive the line. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So
Yeah.
Jack Nesbitt or Jack Nesbitt or Jet Luchenko, one of those guys, maybe they are the center. Maybe they are the 1C for the Flyers of the future. But on any other team with any other wingers, they wouldn't be. It's just that's the right mix, right?
Yeah, or like Vansagi can be like the big body on the top line or second line. Maybe
Yeah.
Barkey can be like the energy guy as like the third piece on a top 6 line. But like
Yeah.
if they're the player that's driving the line, if this is a true Stanley Cup contending team, that's where they should be playing is the third line. But they can obviously play up the lineup as we've seen throughout the years with various Flyers players doing such.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of Flyers prospects, The Athletic today released their projections for the World Juniors rosters, and the Flyers
Yes,
have quite a few names. Quite a
they
few
do.
names.
They do. Let's start here sharing on the screen for you YouTube viewers. Here's their Team Canada projected. You got Martone, top line right wing with Gavin McKenna and Berkeley Catton. Then you
Hmm.
got Jet Luchenko as third line center. You have Caden Lindstrom, Michael Misa, Beckett Seneca as a second line. And then Luchenko with TJ Ginla and Michael Hage.
Hmm.
Um, no other Flyers on this besides those two. Spencer Gill, people are talking about, maybe if Zane Parekh is
Maybe.
not allowed to go, or if, Spencer Gill has a great season, if Sam Dickinson is, held by his team, like he could
Hmm.
be in the mix. But, Martone and Luchenko, I feel like are going to be pretty much slam dunks.
Noting Team Canada is probably the most difficult roster to make.
Mm.
It's Canada. This is their sport. Ostensibly this is their tournament to lose. But they've lost a lot recently, so you never know.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a tough roster to make, and seeing Martone and Luchenko on there, and if you're complaining, oh, only 2 Flyers prospect, that's pretty good for
Mm-hmm.
Team Canada. Because you see Utah there, they have 3 in Iginla, Desnoyers, and Beaudoin, but like
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's Team Canada. It's a tough roster to crack.
Yeah, I would like to see Luchenko maybe get a spot in the top 6, but I feel like I guess on this team, like with so many
It's
skilled
tough.
players, he can just be that shutdown third line guy for them. He was one of their best players last year. He had the shorthanded
Shoot it.
breakaway.
Shorthanded.
Did not go in the shootout despite
That's right.
scoring the only goal there.
Yep.
So,
Not only that, on the breakaway in a in a method similar to what you would do in a shootout, and the
mhm,
coach went to other players twice before he went to
yeah,
Luchenko.
yeah,
It's just weird, man. I don't get it.
yeah. So Flyers got 2 players they're projected on Team Canada here. Going over to Team USA, just one player, Shane Van on the fourth line
Oh
there.
yeah.
The notable absence clearly is Jack Nesbitt. The centers are Higgins, Camille Bednarik, Cullen Potter, and then AJ Spellacy. Um, you know, I could see Nesbitt making the team just because he has a big body, and like that's what could be the difference in playing against teenagers. Like if he has a good start to the season, if I feel like he should be in the mix. I was kind of shocked that he wasn't invited to the summer showcase at all.
Yeah, and I'm looking at these centers. Higgins and Potter are both on the smaller side. I don't know anything about Bednarik and Spellacy. Um, but they might want a big guy to come in and help out. I
Yeah,
mean, Will Horkoff, I think, can also play center. He's
yeah.
a
hmm
fourth on left wing there. But yeah, I don't know. One
Bednarik
of my
6 foot, and AJ Spellacy's 6'3", so maybe he's
okay,
the big
maybe
body.
he's that guy.
Yeah.
Logan Hensler there was my guy at 22 before the Flyers traded up. So seeing him on Team USA, I'm like, damn it,
Yeah.
wanted
It
that
all
guy.
it also must hurt you to see, Islanders have 2 big guys on Team Canada with Schaefer and Atchison, and then Cole
Uh-huh.
Yzerman and Bednarik here. Islanders could be scary moving forward, which is, no one wants
Oh,
that. No one wants the
oh,
Islanders to do well.
no, especially me. I mean, I brought it up in the Slack earlier, but a line of Iserman and Eklund is that should be a lot of fun, and
Mm,
it's going to make me so mad when they're shredding the Flyers in the
yeah.
playoffs in a couple years. But maybe they just won't because the Islanders suck.
Yeah.
I hate them.
Why did I think Jack Nesbitt was going to college? I guess he has another year here at Windsor in the OHL. He'll be
Mhm.
potentially going
Their
to the
top guy.
AHL next year. I mean, yeah, he should be their
Oh,
top guy at Windsor. Point per game, pretty much last year, 64 points in 65 games. He's someone who I could see as being like the big center for Michkov. Like if like he could be the Flyers 1C or 2C by default to be that big body in the middle, be the defensive presence, and just get in front of the net, get those rebounds.
yeah. I mean, my
But
only concern there that would be a decent power play, but I don't
mhm,
like the idea of them at 5-on-5 because Michkov, not a great skater. Nesbitt, definitely not a great
not a great
skater.
skater.
And if you have Martone up there, he's okay, but he's not great either. And I'm like, is that too slow of a line? Is it not agile enough? Like it feels like it's missing a skating and speed element, which is why, I think Luchenko would be a good fit. But hey,
Yeah,
if any one of those three can suddenly become a really good skater, okay.
yeah, yes. All right, moving over to Team Sweden here. You got Jack Berglund as the second line center, Victor
Hmm.
Eklund as a top line right wing, Frondell top line center. That's the only thing the Flyers have there is Jack
I mean,
Berglund for Team Sweden.
Berglund might end up being the 1C. Like Frondell signed with the Blackhawks, so I think he's going back. I think they've said he's going back to Sweden
Yeah, he
for
should.
another
He
year.
really
So
should. Like,
he should be on this team.
yeah.
But I don't know if the Flyers have any other prospects that would like tap in if any of these guys are injured or something. So I love that there's brothers on the same line though. That's always a fun time.
Oh, the third line there, the
Yeah,
Bjork is
Wilson
that is
Bjork.
it Bjork? Yeah.
I think so. Wilson and Vigo Bjork, but yeah, I guess we'll see. Ivar Stenberg up on that top line is one of the top 5, maybe top 10 picks for next year. So we'll
All right.
see. Keep an eye on him.
Okay, and then closing things out with Team Finland, you got Heikki
Mhm,
Ruonen on the second line there behind
mhm.
Konsta Helenius, who the Flyers passed on. The Flyers passed on for
Yes, they did.
Lutsenko. and then Max Westergaard as the third line winger there. I saw people saying Finland is pretty thin. Finland, if you will,
Finland,
this season. Yeah.
I mean, there's a chance Ruonen also takes over the center at the top of the lineup because maybe Hellenius goes to the Sabres because it's Buffalo and that's what they do. But no, the Slack chat was surprised to see Westergaard make it, especially because he's kind of smaller. But Finland doesn't have a big pool to pull from, so you don't.
Yeah. Was he at the Summer Showcase? I think I saw some highlights of him, right?
I think he was kind of maybe,
yeah.
But
yeah.
Aaron Kiviharju, man, every time I see that name, I just get a laugh out of it because people were like, "Oh, he's gonna go to the first." I think he goes in the 4th round to Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota got two defensemen there. They got Zibuiam, of course, as well. So they got but they traded for Juracek from Columbus, right?
Yes,
they got him. They got him as well. So yeah,
and Buiam, but don't
and Buiam and Brock Faber still like they're looking good there on the blue line.
Pretty good.
So that's the World Juniors projected lines. Of course, this is projections here in August. This is August content. This is August content that we're talking about. Like we'll see what players play in the NHL, what players get hurt, what players have down years, what other players could have good years to replace them. Yeah, so we will.
This is in December, by the way, so we've got like 4 months until it comes together.
Where is the World Juniors this year?
I think it's in the U.S., but I don't know where.
It's St. Paul, Minneapolis,
Minnesota.
Yeah.
Oh, it's where the showcase was. Okay,
yeah,
that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Speaking of projections, quick shout out to Travis Konechny and Travis Sanheim for being invited to the Team Canada Olympic camp. That's not making the roster. That's just similar to the summer showcase. They're just kind of making their case. It would be so cool to have a flyer on a Team Canada Olympic team. Because really the only other
Sanheim has to make it, right?
I feel like he should. Unless he's just stinks this season, which he does have a pendulum effect pretty frequently in his career where he goes back and forth. Because really the only other player that's a lock is Rasmus Ristolainen.
Yeah.
Finland.
I feel like Sam Ersson will probably be at least the second or third goalie for Sweden.
Oh no. Markstrom, Olmark, Gustafsson. Like
that's true.
He only got onto
he'll need an injury again. I forgot about that.
Exactly. Yeah. Unless he just kills it this year and one of those guys stings.
Yeah. And Ristolainen, it's a matter of if he's healthy. And I've heard a lot of people talking about like you can't count on him to be in your lineup, and that makes me question if the Flyers should have moved him if they had offers at this most recent deadline. But you never know what teams were offering. Like the guy from the Ottawa Sun said Toronto offered a haul or whatever, and the Flyers turned it down. But you don't know what a haul is. Like you don't know, and they could be just saying that. You have no idea.
Just making shit up.
Yes, exactly there. Do you want to get into lineup projections now?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into so we did our lineup projections almost a month ago now. I think 3 weeks ago. Like there's a ton of possible combinations out there. So there's not really anything you can say is like, oh, that's definitely not going to happen. But NHL.com released their projected lineups. They're going team by team, I believe. They
I
did
think
the
they're
Flyers
finished now.
Might be finished now. All right. They did the Flyers last week. I'm going to throw this up here on the screen for YouTube. For the forwards here, they got Michkov, Couturier, Konechny.
Okay.
I think the Flyers should try that again. They were good at the beginning of the year. They were great at the end of the year. Couturier was really rejuvenated. I feel like that could help him out. Forster, Cates, Brink, keeping that line together. Perfect. Third line, they have Alex Bump, Trevor Zegras, and Owen Tippett, which I guess I could see.
Why is Zegras a 3C?
Yeah, I feel like that would be the second line, and the Cates line would be the third line.
I'm also like, this is assuming, I guess, that Forster is healthy.
Yes, and Forster posted on Instagram yesterday or Sunday a
Yeah,
picture with an eyes emoji, so hopefully that's good
good
news.
sign.
Definitely some August content there reading into a Instagram post, but that would be fantastic for the
Cryptic
Flyers.
cryptic Instagram post.
Good Instagram post, yeah.
God, it's like back in middle school where you put like song lyrics in your away message and you're hoping the person that is
Yeah,
meant to see them sees them.
yeah. Then the fourth line, Nick Delorier, Christian Dvorak, and Garnett
Yeah,
Hathaway.
sure.
Very similar to what we thought. I don't think, this is at NHL.com. Independent correspondent, I believe, was Wes Crosby.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, he's not going to put Luchenko on there. He's not going to try to put Grebenkin on the fourth line or whoever else in the lineup. Like, this is a very conservative, safe projection, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest thing is switch Zegras and Cates, and I would
Mhm.
take Tyson Forrester out just straight up. I don't think he's gonna start the season personally. We'll see.
Yeah.
And then I still really want to see Konechny and Zegras together. I think that's the chemistry. I think that's it.
Yeah, because we'll get to the defense next, but he did keep Ristolainen out, so it is interesting that he put
Mhm.
Forster in there. Like, yeah, but yeah, I don't see them using Dvorak as a 4C, not because he's making the money that he is. People are saying like, oh, you're not going to spend $5 million on a fourth line center, but just because that's one of the guys coming in that Rick Tocchet knows and he trusts. So I think Dvorak will be the 3C. I also want to find a way to get Luchenko into this lineup. I've talked about it before. Like, I want the Flyers to know more what he can do at the NHL. And I also just think going back to the OHL for him won't help his development. Like, even if he is technically on the fourth line, he'll play 12, 15 minutes a night. You can move
Yeah.
him up the lineup throughout the season. Like, but I want Zegras at center. Like, you got to see if he can be a center. You have to. Like,
Mhm.
if he's a
Mhm.
winger, it's it's skeptical if he's in how much of a part of the future he is. Couturier is at center. So you got Couturier, Zegras. I want Luchenko in there. That's three centers. And then so that's moving Cates or Dvorak to wing, which I feel like those two could be a great duo together, like Dvorak, Cates, and Brink on that line.
Yeah, spoiler, that's another article I'm going to be working on in the next week or two about the Flyers' new look penalty kill because
Mhm.
Lawton and Paling both gone. They were key members of that penalty kill, and if Forrester is going to miss the start of the season, he's a logical choice because of the way he plays, but might need someone else there.
Yeah, let me look. I was looking at that last night, actually, like what the Flyers penalty kill was last year, because it was Konechny and Paling a lot. Yeah, Forster got some minutes. I'm trying to look up now post trade deadline. What was the most common forward penalties killers used? Noah Cates, Noah Cates gonna
Yep.
be a big part of it. Paling was next at 30 minutes, then Forster and Konechny, like, and Hathaway there as well. I kind of don't want Konechny killing penalties.
Really?
I kind of just want like the bottom six guys killing penalties if possible. I feel like Konechny wore down a lot last season. He admitted like he
Mm.
kind of emptied the tank to make Four Nations, and then he was clearly battling something in the second half, and his goal scoring took a complete hit. So like if you can keep your top guys, like if you're going for the power kill and you want Konechny as a potential, shorthanded goal option, sure. But I feel like you got Cates, you got Dvorak, you got Forster, you got Hathaway. Can
I don't
Bump
know,
kill?
man.
He's
I,
gonna have to be. He's gonna have to be out there. He's going to have to be. But
it's a big part of what turned his game around. Putting him on the penalty kill was a critical juncture in his career. Like it's what turned him into the player of the last 3 years that we're familiar with was moving him to the PK.
so let's do that for someone else. Let's do that for Bobby Brink. Do you think is he
But
just too short to go penalties? You think like is his reach going to
mhm,
be an issue?
maybe. I mean, Konechny's not tall either, but
No.
I'm also worried you take him off the unit, then it's like well, do you take away what was making him good, which is keeping his feet
Ah,
moving and keeping him engaged? But
I
I don't know.
you could, but I feel like him joining the penalty kill helped his two-way game, which he can still keep at 5-on-5 and have
Mm,
that extra energy, especially if he's on a line with Michkov, who wears down at the end of shifts. We'll see if that is different this year after an off season of training, knowing what to expect. But like, I don't know. I just like seeing teams in the playoffs, like they kill a penalty, they get their top guys back out there fresh, and like it could be a huge momentum shift. And I think the Flyers have the potential to do that.
okay, that's fair.
Yeah. Okay,
Okay,
let's go over
defense.
to the defense then here, if my mouse will cooperate. You got Sanheim York,
Sure.
which it has Sanheim on the left side, which is wrong.
Hmm.
You got Steeler
Well, they
Drysdale.
had they had Michkov on the left side too for the forwards, which is not what they were doing last year. He was playing right wing and
Yeah, he
TK
was
was on
playing
the
right
left.
side. Yeah. And then they had the third pair of Dennis Gilbert and Noah Juleson.
So stupid.
Notably, notably, no Igor
Where's
Zamula, no Helge
yeah,
Grans, no potential Emil Andre. Um,
McDonald, Bonk.
like I said with the forwards, this is just the safest projection. It just has to
Is
be
it?
the no,
Like
yeah. Why wouldn't you have Zamula in there? Like Zamula's not going to be
right.
the 7. Like he's not. Dennis
Yeah.
Gilbert. I was trying to look into him because I'm trying to hype him up. He's my long lost
Yeah.
cousin, but like he just
Uh-huh.
has not played a lot of games in recent years. Last year, he played a total of 29 games between Buffalo and Ottawa. Year before, 34. Like it's not like he was in the AHL. Those were all NHL games. So he was either hurt or a healthy scratch for both Buffalo and Ottawa. Before that, he was with Calgary. Apparently, I think he was one of the guys that had a big hit on a flyer in the one of those games that I saw floating around social media. But yeah, I just don't know why Igor Zamula is not in this lineup.
Yeah, that's the most glaring omission. But because what are you gonna do? Waive him? I think someone would claim Zamula if you
Yeah,
waived him. His
yeah.
contract's too cheap. He's young. He has a
Mhm.
ton of NHL experience at this point. Like you
Oh
you
no,
you
yeah.
claim him.
Dennis Gilbert is the 7, if not an AHL guy, and
Yeah.
Juleson could very well be the 7. You get Zamula and Helge Grans up there. I hear a lot of people that are connected to the Flyers are talking highly of Grans heading into the season. So
Yeah.
I do expect him to get a longer look.
Yeah. And then the goalies,
Goalies,
Sam
Harrison Vladar.
Emerson,
Yeah,
Dan Vladar.
yeah,
Duh.
so, yeah.
Like
So
that's
that's the 2 there. Yeah, it's just these like national projections, like even Daily Faceoff. I'm gonna pull Daily Faceoff up here. Michkov,
oh my
Torre,
god.
Konechny, Zegras, Dvorak, Tippett as a second line, Forster, Cage, Brink, and then Delorier, Obels, and Hathaway. Like, and then
Obels. Forgot
uh,
about him.
York, Sanheim, Steeler, Drysdale, Zamula, Juleson. Yeah. The power play, we got to talk power play penalty kill. Maybe next show, maybe in a few shows.
I
That
think
that
next
is
show,
true.
yeah.
That is true August content there. Trying to put some power plays together. Penalty kill, they got Cates, Konechny, Coots, and Hathaway. Maybe Coots does go back to killing penalties because like I feel like he's gonna be rejuvenated not having John Tortorella as his coach.
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
teacher's pet and he finally you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
he's finally got a coach who respects that.
Yeah. He's gotta get back there. Gotta get back there. Yeah, your 1C article finally came out yesterday, I believe. We talked about it last week with the Calgary option. Like you see these lines that don't necessarily have a bona fide first line center, and they are some of
Yeah.
the best in the league at driving play.
Yeah. I don't know if you are able to pull up the chart from the article, but
I can, yes, I can. Let me
oh yeah. When I first talked about this with you 2 weeks ago, I was just kind of like, oh, isn't that interesting? And then I decided like, what if I dug deeper into this and figured out, what the facts are? And that Matthew Tkachuk, Lindholm, Gaudreau line is just crazy. 62.2 expected goals for percentage, 58 Corsi for percentage, 72 goals scored, and 965 minutes together through 82
yeah.
games. Like part of that is luck that they all stayed healthy for an entire season. But on the other hand, 82 games of just outright dominance is crazy. Like that's a great line, and it was not Elias Lindholm being the driver there. Look, it was mostly just to say you can have, as long as you have a star on your line, ideally 2, you can have a driving first line built from the wings. Other lines on here are Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz, and Joe Pavelski. I don't know. Maybe Robertson is like a star level talent, but
I mean, they're all stars.
Ha 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 ha! That's a Dallas joke. That's really good. That's great. Awesome. Really fun. None of them are
back-to-back years there, though, as well.
Back-to-back years, and almost identical stats. It's wild. But you know, they are all very good players in their own right. But I don't know if I'd qualify them as like superstar level talents. We've got Alexei Lafreniere, Vincent Trocheck, and Artemi Panarin. Panarin's a star. I know that's the second line on the Rangers and not the top line, but you cannot just sit there and tell me Artemi Panarin he's on a second line. He's not a true star. Like he is. Like that's kind of what it is.
That was last season, or I guess 2 seasons
23,
ago now,
24.
When Panarin was like, all right, I'm just going to start shooting the puck, and he scored 49 goals. So that was that.
110 points or something ridiculous. It was
120 points.
120. Just unreal. And then last year in 24-25, the Boston Bruins stunk, but the line of Morgan Gigi, Pavel Zacha, and David Pastrnak was still one of the best wing-focused play-driving lines of the last 4 years. And then after that, Kirill Kaprizov, Ryan Hartman, and Matt Zuccarello in 2021-22. Kaprizov is the star on there, but you try to tell me Ryan Hartman is a 1C, Matt Zuccarello is still a top line forward? I don't think so, man. Like, you look at these lines, you look at the statistics, you look at how effective they were, and you can see, look, if you've got a top 10 superstar, it doesn't matter what position they play. As long as you've got players that can keep up with them, that's what counts. And if you've got 2, like in the case of Tkachuk and Gaudreau on the flanks of Lindholm, then you have a truly dominant top of the league top line. And you don't need, it would be great, you know, if you had a McDavid or a McKinnon in the middle there, but the key is to have 1 or 2 star level talents on a line and go from there. Because then you consider the second line of the Flyers. If you have Martone, Luchenko, Michkov, your second line is like Konechny, Zegras, Forrester, probably. Yeah. That's a crazy second line. That's a crazy strong second line, because then you've got Owen Tippett on your third line, which he's paid too much for that, but like, you know, that's still pretty good.
Yeah. And the one counterpoint people listening or reading this might be saying is, none of these teams won the Stanley Cup, though. They didn't even get to the Stanley Cup final. Well, Joe argues against that and explains why there's problems and how the Flyers can fix that later in this article. So spend $5 a month, read this article, read all the great content at BrowStreetHockey.com.
Yeah. And spoiler alert, it's depth. These teams, the Flames shat the bed when it came to their depth. Part of it was injury, but you know, what do you know, that's what happens. Be built better, I guess.
Yeah. This article got me thinking, like, and I said this to you the other night, like, can the Flyers be successful with the centers that they have in the system? Like, I mean, they have the potential to be. Like, if Zegras is a top 6 guy, Luchenko's a second line guy, you have Couturier, Nesbitt holding down the third line, you know, Couturier may pass the torch a bit, fourth line is whoever, and you have Martone, Michkov, Konechny, Bump, Barkey, Tippett, Forster on the wing. Like, you can have 3 great lines, and like, you know, maybe not be, you don't have Alexander Barkov, you don't have Nathan McKinnon, but you have the wingers. And Braden Point is only a 1C because of Kucherov and because of Stamkos. Like, he's a great player, but like, he's very much elevated by Kucherov and was elevated by Stamkos. Like,
I guess
he's not a point per game player in his career. He was a point per game player 1 season, 2
Braden Point
4 seasons. He's a 1C, but if he's not playing with Kucherov, Like, can he carry a line?
I think so. He's a point a game or better for most of his season. Let's see. His first season, 40 and 68, then 66 and 82, then 92 and 79, 64 and 66, 48 and 56, 58 and 66, 95 and 82, 90 and 81, and 82 and 77. Like, he is that good. He is that good, and I think I think Braden Point is a fantastic center. I think he's a true 1C.
He is, but I feel like he's much elevated by Nikita Kucherov, who should honestly have multiple Hart trophies in recent years, and he just doesn't get them because he's Russian and because he doesn't show up to doesn't give his effort in the All-Star competitions.
And he's not a center.
And he's not a center. Yeah, he's not a center. So if Michkov can be Kucherov, who he's been compared to,
Yes.
and Zegras or Luchenko can be a Braden Point type, like the Flyers are set.
Yeah. And last thing on the Flames line, Johnny Gaudreau, undersized forward. Matvei Michkov, undersized forward. Matthew Tkachuk, big power winger. Porter Martone, big power winger. Like, the archetype, the model is there. You just need a center who isn't going to be detrimental and who can read the play at a high enough level to know what his line mates are doing, even if he doesn't have the skills to execute at the same level that they are.
Yep.
That's Jet Luchenko to a T, man. He's a great passer. He's so smart. He's really detailed. He's fast. Like, on any other team, no, he's probably not a 1C. You put him between two elite wingers, he's good enough to make sure that they are able to perform at the top of their game. So I have much more, after doing this article, I had much more faith in the Flyers center situation than I did earlier on. Because you can't just look at the players and prospects in isolation. You have to look at how they might fit into the rest of the lineup. And
exactly,
this was a good exercise for that.
Yeah. This was a good hour of hockey talk as well.
Yeah.
We warned it was going to be August content, but I mean, I feel like we got a good chunk of hockey talk in there for the hour. Once again, I want to shout out FanDuel here. They got the odds up for the Flyers total points over under. It is set at 83.5. They had 76 points last year. You got to think they do better than 83.5, right?
I mean, it depends on the goal he stops. Like,
well, it's goaltending and power play. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I'd probably go over. I think I'd go over on that one.
Yeah. I think I would. Like, they were 8 points shy of it last year with Fedotov and Kolosov and trading away half their team and the team not exactly loving their coach. Like,
yeah.
So and another year, Michkov, like Zegras in there. I think it's an easy over for Flyers.
Do they have the playoff cutoff line, or like what the?
Well, they have playoff odds up.
For the
Flyers to make the playoffs are plus 220, which let me get my implied
calculator.
31% to make the playoffs. They have it. So
that seems about right.
That's about right. They have the Islanders and Blue Jackets, slightly better odds. And then
the Islanders, get the fuck out of here, man. There's no shot. There's no way. They just traded Noah Dobson, and he was like their best defenseman. What? The Islanders stink.
Yeah, Islanders. Oh, I'm looking at, like, they're going to be good. They're going to be good in a few years, but right now, they should honestly probably just trade Nat Barzal and try to get a package. But we'll see what they do up there on Long Island.
Long Island.
Right, Joe. Good stuff here. Where can people find you if they have any feedback?
You can find me on Blue Sky at jfdemarini.bsky.social. Where can they find you, Gilbs, besides karaoke nights?
You can also follow me on Blue Sky at ryangilbert.bsky.socials. All right. Until next time, thanks for listening.
Go Flyers.